College is expensive and boring, and it's a one-way ticket to Debtsville. Is there a better plan to stay out of debt and get a high-paying job? Mike Rowe thinks there's nothing dirty about these wonderful jobs. He's going to join us next. Welcome back to The Independent. Our country is in deep debt, so why should you follow suit? It seems nonsensical to start out the best time in your life straddled with bills you can't pay. College used to be a surefire way to kickstart your life, but the times they haven't changed, and a college degree may get you little more than decades of bills and regret. Mike Rowe, the famous TV host of shows like Dirty Jobs and Deadliest Catch, is on a mission to get people into good-paying jobs that might cause a few more calluses than your preferred route through academia. Mike, why are you so hell-bent on sending everyone to not four-year schools? Hi, welcome, by the way.
Hi, Kennedy. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
And hello to Matt, and hello to, is it Kimley?
Camille. It's Camille.
It's Camille. I'm sorry, my name is so awful. I apologize, Matt.
I'm sorry, Camille. I just like to know who I'm talking to. Although I can't see anything, but you all sound like fantastic people.
We
Yes.
really are, and that's well said. So,
Yeah.
Is college a big waste of time for most people? I know it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it is expensive. I would never say it's a waste of time, but I just don't know why we look at college differently than we look at any other thing that we would spend a lot of money for. Like, fitness is important, but it doesn't mean you have to spend $500 a month to go to the most expensive gym. You might be able to go to the Y and get a decent workout. The lie is that a four-year degree is the best path for the most people. And the trick is, whenever you talk about this, at least whenever I talk about it, what winds up coming back over the net with a fair amount of topspin is that, no, Mike is against college, he's against education. I'm not against that at all. I'm just against the idea that the only way to get smart and the only way to get your life started is with a great big fat debt to some university that probably trained you to be really good at a career that no longer exists. It's kind of nuts.
So what's your alternative? What do you want to give people the option to do that they don't have right now?
Well, it's not in my power to give anybody anything, but the options are there, and they always have been. I remember when Dirty Jobs, back in 2008, when the economy kind of pooped the bed, you know, there was a lot of talk about this topic, but unemployment was the thing that was in the headlines first and foremost. What I was seeing on Dirty Jobs, and what I had been seeing ever since 2003, was help wanted signs. Everybody I met on the show, all the employers anyway, talked constantly about how difficult it was to find people who were willing to learn a new skill, a useful skill, show up early, stay late, and really do the work.
And get paid, by the way.
It was just really two very different narratives going on. The idea that here's unemployment, which is the story of people looking for work who can't find it, and here's this skills gap. There were over 3 million jobs in 2008 that were sitting there. And nobody was really talking about them because they weren't aspirational. So, long story short, I figured a lack of appreciation for skilled labor ultimately manifested itself in a kind of disconnect that led us to push kids in one direction, ignore another direction, and that ultimately created a whole lot of jobs that nobody was too enthused about.
No, but I mean, the marketplace has shown that there are millions of jobs that pay really well. And welding and plumbing and contracting and nursing that, you know, do require a little bit more physical output, can be far more rewarding. But I mean, the bottom line is the bottom line, and you can get paid a lot more money entering into a number of these fields with a 2-year degree or less.
Yeah, but the bottom line's not always on the bottom either. You know, I mean, people look at jobs like it's some sort of destination, when in fact, I mean, you can look at your own career, right? I mean, there's been kind of a matriculation, you know, way leads on to way. And there's this tendency, welding, for instance, that you mentioned, that's probably the best example in this giant category of disconnected opportunities vis-a-vis education, aspiration, et cetera. I ran into Tom Vilsack a few years ago, Secretary of Agriculture, and we were at the same place talking about different things, but backstage he said, man, you have no idea how true this is. There was a governor in one of the southern states, I forget which one, but they were about to go into construction on a nuclear power plant. The plug was pulled on the whole project, and he asked me why I thought that was, and I knew it was a trick question, but the answer wasn't money, it wasn't protesting, it wasn't permits or anything like that. It was welders. You need hundreds, thousands of very, very specific, experienced welders to open up a plant like that. We couldn't find them. They're not there. And that was my experience on dirty jobs year after year. Plumbers, steam fitters, pipe fitters, carpenters, all these jobs that we were hearing didn't exist, they were there. And nobody was giving them any love, and it was madness.
I'm glad that you gave us some love and some insight. It's a really interesting and refreshing perspective, and I hope you come back and see us, especially when you're in New York.
Anytime. I'll be in New York. MikeRoweWorks.com, if I can plug my own self-absorbed website.
That's your name, Mike Rowe,
it's a
not
resource
Mike
center
Rowe.
built by the fans of dirty jobs, and it's working.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike.
Anytime.
Sweet. Okay, very good. Next, our millennial panel returns. And later on, a real-life communist shares a laundry list of solutions for millennials, and his Rolling Stone article has created quite a saucy response. He'll be here soon enough, comrade. Stay where you are.